Hi,
Go easy on me now. That'd be nice to me.
all right, only because we have to.
There you go.
Awesome stuff. Well, it's just absolutely spot on the top of the hour. So, um, if everyone can mute on the way in or mute yourselves, that would be great. We're going to have a few pings. Did you just want to wait another minute, Bo, or did you just?
I'm all yours. I'm all yours. If if you see me disappear, it's because room service is just delivering my dinner, and it's 9 o'clock. And if I don't order it now, I don't get to eat.
All
So,
right, all right, okay. Well, it is the top of the hour anyway. Thank
but
you
take
so.
your time. I'm good. I'm good.
Is that
So,
right? Okay. Well, one more minute. No, 30 more
yeah,
seconds.
that's great. Seriously, no. Seriously, I'm all yours. So, I'm all yours. So, I mean, I'm not gonna. I left the door open so the guy could carry it in and set it down. So don't even worry about me.
That's awesome. Well, I've got my little grandson here today
It's
um,
awesome.
at short
That's
notice. So
great.
if I disappear, it's because he's needing something.
Quite all right.
So okay, well, I think we will.
Hi, Jojo.
Hi, everyone.
1 second. Here it is. Come on in.
Oh, here it is. Bo's just getting his room service delivered, folks. So oh, there's lots of people jumping on. I'm so excited. How exciting! Thank you so much for giving up your time today, folks. I know that a lot of people are at work and a lot of people are disappointed that they couldn't jump on,
There
but
you
we
go.
are
Look
looking
at
forward.
that.
So that was perfect timing, Bo.
It was ideal timing.
All right, so we will start. Or did you want to shove some food down your?
Nope.
Nope.
I'm all yours. Now
All
I've got it sitting over there. I don't even worry about it.
right. All right. Well, thank you so much for giving of your time, Bo. For those of you, obviously you all know who Bo is, but for those that don't know me, I'm in Western Australia. We have a team over here, and obviously on the East Coast, we've got Jazzy and Rach, and that also joining us, and Kel from different one team members or team members. Um, Now you know that Bo's our chief sales officer. He's incredible. He spoke at the Sydney NLA and absolutely inspired me and the team that was there. I felt like he was absolutely speaking just to me alone, and there was lots of tears. But I really felt inspired and really encouraged to just keep pushing on with this Miriam thing. As you're all aware, there's been a lot of turmoil, but nothing that we can't handle. We've been through turmoil. All of us have been through something in our lives, but Bo spoke beautifully and passionately, and he inspired us all. And I've just asked him to jump on because I know many of us have been approached by other companies. They're a bit like vultures. They come in and they want to swoop in and steal some of us. But I asked Bo if he could jump on and just share the vision going forward. And I wanted you guys to be able to hear what we heard at the NLA in Sydney, because that was definitely something that encouraged me to just lock in and lock arms with the people that are running with this business and really want to move forward. I'm so nervous. And just really want to, keep building their hopes and their dreams. So with that being said, I think everyone's muted. But, you know, without, let Bo tell his story, but he's spoken around the globe in 34 countries to more than 1 million people. He's written songs and books and so on, which was a little bit of a secret we didn't know. So you can Google Bo's songs. But anyway, on that note, because I'm waffling, I'm going to hand that over to you, Bo, and we really look forward to hearing what you've got to say.
Jojo, you did great. You did great. I don't know why you're nervous, but you did great. So thank you. I'm impressed. So believe me, I'm nothing to be nervous around. So thank you. I'm honored to be here. I wouldn't miss. I got to tell you guys, I love your country. I love your country. I used to go to Australia and New Zealand, as a matter of fact, twice a year. Uh, and I was talking when I was down there about scuba diving the Great Barrier Reef. I'm a diver, so that's one of my dreams for y'all. It's the Great Barrier Reef, big deal. But I remember the first time I did it, I was down there, and it was on my bucket list in life. And there were 4 foot seas, and there was 4 of us, and I think 5 crew members. So it was this beautiful yacht. I mean, took 5 people to man the yacht. And there was 4 of us, and we dove the Great Barrier Reef, and it's 4-foot seas. Just because I like to dive doesn't mean I like 4-foot seas. And so I checked it off my bucket list. I came home, and I was back at my hotel, and my buddy called me and says, "Hey, you ready to do it again today?" Which was the next day. And I said, "Nope, I'm good. I checked it off my bucket list." And he said, "Put your wetsuit on. I'm going to pick you up." So I did, and I didn't want to say no. I was a guest in your country, and so he showed up, and instead of driving me to the marina, he drove me to the airport. And he put me in a helicopter, and we flew out to a pontoon in the middle of the Great Barrier Reef and landed, took 3 steps, and went into the water. That's how you dive the Great Barrier Reef. You're there in an instant. I want you all to know that if you are from Australia or New Zealand, you are in an incredible location to build this business. You have to know that about you. There are certain countries where it's kind of the sweet spot of the industry. And then within the industry, there's sweet spots of certain countries and companies to be in. You're in an incredible place. Just real quick background about me. I've been in this industry for 30 years. I started I'm 15. I'm 59 years old now. I started when I was 30, so almost 30 years. I went to my first meeting. I was that guy that probably showed up to one of your meetings. I didn't smile. If you ever had anybody come be one of your real results parties, they're sitting in the front row with their arms folded and they don't smile. Or am I the only guy that's ever happened to in life, right? If you've had that happen to you, I was that guy. And as soon as it was over, I was out of the room because I didn't want to be around this. I didn't get it. People were just a little too nice for me. There was a lot of, "Hey, winner, hey, love you, buddy," and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, dude, you don't even know me. And so I remember leaving. But I remember laying in bed that night. I'm going to encourage you all to do this. Please do this for yourself. I don't care how long you've been around here, and do this for yourself tonight. I remember that and laying in bed that night after I saw what I saw 30 years ago. And I remember saying, if I do not do this, where am I going to be 5 years from now? And I remember the answer was real simple. I'm going to be comfortable. I had a comfortable life. I had a 6-figure income since I was 28. So I was going to have a comfortable life. Listen, 30 years ago, I had a $2,500 house payment. So that's crazy today. It was crazier back then. And I sat there and I thought, okay, if I do this and it doesn't work for me, where am I going to be 5 years from now? And I kind of said, comfortable. I mean, $500 or $600, 5 years later, you don't even remember it. And you remember it one day later, but not 5 or 6 years later. And then I asked myself this question: if I do this and it works, where can I? And all I'm going to tell you is that changed the direction of my life. One question: if I do this and it works, just what if it works? And I realized I'm not going to be comfortable. And I'm going to say this to each and every one of you, and please accept this from me. I don't believe God put you on this earth to be comfortable. I believe you were put here to be significant. I believe you were put here to do something special. I believe you were put here to help other people, to encourage other people, to do something great with your life. And so I remember saying, okay, I'll give it a shot. And my sister told me a shot meant 15 hours a week for 2 to 5 years. Okay, I'll do that. I'm going to work 40 years of my life for somebody else, 60 hours a week. I might as well try 15 hours a week for 2 to 5 years for me. And so I decided to do it after my first month. Now understand, do the math, 60 hours worth of work. My first check was $7. Thank you so much. $7. It was embarrassing. My friends laughed at me. I laughed at me. I know this is the goofiest thing on the planet. But I said, I'll do it another month. My second month, I made $150. My third month, I made $800. My ninth month, I made $2,000. My 24th month, I made $10,000. And my 54th month, I was 35 years old, I made 110 grand, 110,000 US dollars in my 54th month in the industry. And I remember that's when I knew there was something really big to this, but I didn't really totally understand it. But I got an education within 24 hours. My dad called me up. And my dad was chief of staff, or at the time was the longest serving senator in the history of the United States, a United States senator. And my dad called me up, and my dad was ranked as one of the 50 most powerful staff members in Washington, D.C. And he gave me some advice I'll never forget. He said, and this is the whole purpose of me telling you this part of the story. My dad said, "Hey, son, I heard you had a good month." And I said, "Yes, sir, I did." He said, "That's great." He goes, "Can I give you some advice?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "The more money you make, the more people will tell you how great you are." He said, "Jimbo," which is my nickname to my dad, "Jimbo, you're not that good." And the more money you make, the more people will criticize you because they're jealous. And you're not that bad either. If you remember who you are, where you come from, and be kind to people, everything will work out. That's when I realized at 35 years old, while this is an individual check, this is a team sport. This is the power of pulling people together to do something bigger than you can do by yourself. This is about not just you, but the person. If you look at this Zoom call and you see all these boxes, this is about all these people, all these heartbeats, all these souls, all these people with children, all these dream boards. This is about everybody coming together and saying, let's do something significant. I'm going to hit on something real quick because JoJo talked about, there's people that are calling down and all this kind of garbage. Let me tell you something. Welcome to the world of direct sales. People that don't have the courage to build their own group will go try to steal yours. And that's the reality of it. People that don't have the guts and the dignity to leap gracefully. In 30 years of doing this, I've never done this to people. Never done it to people. When I came in as chief sales officer of this company, look, I was president of global sales for a very large publicly traded company. I never one time said to Jeff, hey, I know people there I can go take. I wouldn't do that. Why would you do that? Have some class. Just have class. Do things with dignity. That's my attitude, but that's me. I just believe that's how you should behave. And so when I see people misbehave, it's not going to be the first time. It won't be the last time. It's a coward's way to build a business. If I can't do it on my own, I'll go steal what you've done. You know what I'm going to tell y'all? You're a lion. Be one. Protect your pride. You're a lion. This is your business. You built it. Don't mess with my business. That should be your attitude. But moving on, let me also say this to you. So I found myself after 30 years in the industry, which is really weird. I'm old. I'm officially old. I remember when I used to do meetings and people my age would come up to me and I would think, they're so old. And now I look at myself and think, you're just a baby still. This is great. But I found myself after 30 years, having built 5 companies to their highest level, having owned a company in the industry and having served as president of global sales for a very large publicly NASDAQ traded company. I found myself the happiest guy in the world personally. I hope every husband would argue with me. I married the most incredible woman on the planet. I thank God every day I wake up. When I go to sleep at night and I wake up, I've missed her. Just from being asleep. This woman makes my heart race. To this day. Personally, I was happier than anyone I knew. Professionally, I was unfulfilled, which is weird when you think of my background. How could you be unfulfilled and having had this success in your life? And I've learned that it's, goodness, listen, y'all, every one of you listen to me. Laura, Kim, Michelle, Kelly, Colette, all of you, listen to me. You're going to make money. You're going to make money. You do this right, you'll make as much money as you want. I'm just telling you, you'll make money. It's not about the money. That's easy to say when you have it. I get all that too. I'm not naive. I understand that. But the reality is, it's about what you give. It's about what you can give. And for me, I found myself at the age of 58. I'm 59 now. At 58, I had this bucket I just wanted to pour out and help people win in because I know how to teach you how to do this. There's no rocket science to this. If there was rocket science to this, I would fail miserably. It's just some basic things you're going to learn and you're going to repeat over and over again. Like at work, where you learn basic things and you repeat them over and over again. The difference is at work, your income does this, and you do this, your income will do this. That's the only real difference. At work, you give somebody else your time. Here, you give yourself your time. At work, you work to make somebody else's dreams come true. Here, you make your own family's dreams come true. That's the big difference. It doesn't mean you have to quit your job. If you love your job, keep doing your job. There's nothing wrong with that. It's wonderful. But your dream board is the key to this. And so as I look at this, if this was rocket science, I'm done. I couldn't do it. But what I recognized is that there are some basic skills that you had to learn. And I want all of you to know this. Whatever you do professionally, or whatever, if you say, I don't have a professional job. I don't care what your job is. I don't care if your job is to wake up in the morning and feed 4 children and get them off to school. That's a big job. Because you know all the other jobs that are associated with that job. And I know that. But if that's your job, you have transferable skill sets that you can apply to this to make your dreams come true. You have do not undersell your potential. Do not underestimate what a man or a woman is capable of when they've made a decision to do something big in their life. Do not ever underestimate your potential. Don't do it. Graveyards are full of potential. You have to expend yourself. You have to reach into yourself and give your best and highest effort. Here's what I learned. When I started in the industry, I was scared. I was nervous. I was really good at what I did for a living. And then I got into this and I felt like this goofball. I mean, I felt like every time I would talk to somebody, they looked at me like I had three heads. I would sit there and I would prospect somebody and I would say just enough to get them interested. And then I would throw up all over them, telling them everything I wanted them to know about everything I knew. And then by the time 3 hours were up, they were worn out and I walked away feeling like an idiot. Have y'all ever done that? Or am I the only person in the world that has done that? Okay. I used to have a pot that used to sit on my desk and an empty pot, like a boiling pot, but it was empty. And I used to call people up and talk to them and I would get really nervous and they would ask me questions. I didn't know the answers to these questions. When somebody says, I mean, think about what people say. What is it? I didn't know how to say what it is, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would get really nervous. I'd push the pot till it fell off onto the floor. And I'd say, Fred, I got to go. I got an emergency. I'd hang up the phone and I would sit there and think, what's wrong with you? I'd write down an answer to the question. I'd put the pot back up. I'd call Fred back and Fred would always say, what was that noise? I said, oh, I'm sorry, I had a pot fell on the ground. It's okay. Let me answer your question. Have y'all ever felt this way? I mean, here's one thing I've learned. I don't care where you live. We all feel the same way. I was in Argentina one night, and I was explaining a business in Argentina. A lady stood up, and through a translator, she said, you're not from around here. You don't understand us. And I said, really? She said, really? I said, let me ask you a question through a translator. I said, when you go to bed at night, do you have dreams? And she goes, of course I do. I said, do you dream about your children and your grandchildren and a better life for them? Do you dream about your country being stronger? Do you dream about having more time and more freedom? She says, well, of course I do. I said, well, then this is what I've learned about people. We all have the same dreams. We just dream in different languages or different accents. But they're all the same dreams. We all love our children. We all want more time. We all want more freedom. We all want more security. You know, maybe we have fears about how we're going to get there. Maybe we doubt our potential. Some of you were raised in families where you were told you will never amount to anything. I know that. I've spoken to 1 million people in 35 countries around the world. I've stood on stages in front of 60,000 people. I know what people have gone through. I mean, I've had people come up to me and tell me at the end of a speech, you know, my parents told me that it's a tough world out there. If things don't work out, it's okay. You know, what horrible things to tell your children. It's not okay if things don't work out. I have people that'll come up to me and say, well, I've been told if it's been done before, you can do it. That's a good thing to tell your kids. It's been done before, you can do it. Here's what I was taught. Even if it's never been done before, you can do it. If it's never been dreamt of, you can do it. So I'm saying this to you. I don't know how you were raised. I know you were raised in one of those households where you can do it or you can't. I know that. But here's what I'm here to tell you. Wherever you find yourself in life right now, whatever you've brought to this table in your life right now, if you've been told you can't do something, I'm here to tell you something different. Of course you can do anything you put your mind to. When you unleash the potential that resides in a man or a woman, to make their dreams come true, there's nothing on this earth that's going to stop them. Nothing. If your kids were in a building with the house on fire, you would stop at nothing to rescue them. Nothing. You would do anything in the world to rescue people you love. Here's the truth. When it comes to rescuing yourself, sometimes we have a tendency to take that for granted and we think, but I can't. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And here's my belief. You have to. You have to. You know, I find people say, well, I don't know how to talk to people. Like, that's easy. We'll teach you how to talk to people. You're at a cookout. Somebody says, hey, you know, I can't stay on my job. I got to go to work on Monday. You know, instead of saying, hey, here are the greatest products in the world, all you say is, hey, Fred, the other day you mentioned being frustrated at work. Listen, I might have a solution. Well, we sit down and talk. I'll run some information by. If you're intrigued, we'll talk more about it. If not, no big deal. It's real simple. If somebody says, gosh, I was looking in the mirror the other day and I feel like I'm getting older, I'm not going to talk to them about a business. If they say, I looked in the mirror the other day, I feel like I'm getting older, I'm going to talk to them about a product. Fred, the other day you mentioned when you marry, you mentioned the other day when you look in the mirror and you feel like you're getting older. Listen, I might have a solution. Why don't we sit down? I'll share some products. I've got my hands on incredible anti-aging products. If you're intrigued, I'll talk to you more about them, show you where you can get them. If not, no big deal. You see the difference, but it's the same message. It's just a portable message. You can change it up. So we'll teach you how to do all that. When somebody says, well, what is it? Oh, that's the easy part. When we sit down, I'll explain all the information to you. If you're intrigued, we'll talk more about it. It's not, no big deal. I mean, what do you do exactly? You ever heard of Miriam International? Well, no, what's that all about? Well, that's the easy part. We sit down, I can explain it all to you. Well, what's that specifically? You ever heard of a guy named Jeff Olson, best-selling author of The Slight Edge? No, I haven't. Well, it's pretty interesting. I'm working with Jeff and some people around Jeff. We're expanding an anti-aging company into Australia. Fred, A, I think I have a solution to a problem you got, and B, I think about a way we can make some money together. I mean, these are just one-liners that you learn to attach. Now, you say them now, and it sounds so simple, but do this with me. Count 10 backwards. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. It's simple. But remember the first time somebody asked you to count from 10 backwards? I mean, you usually had to count forward to figure out what the next number was. 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You had to do it in this weird order. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Remember how easy that is? But when you teach your kids the alphabet, you go A, they go, and they don't know what to say. But now if they get a little older, they can say it in their sleep. Talking to people about what to do is an art. How do you talk to them? What do you say? When do you say it? To whom do you say it? It's an art. It's art. It's the messaging. It's the words. I write books. I write music. I write songs because words have power. How you use them matters. There's a science, which is metrics, numbers. How many phone calls do you need to make? How many no's do you have to go through to find a yes? Let me ask you this question. How many no's are your dreams worth? I find people sometimes in this industry, they'll say, I tried this. I tried it. How long did you try it? I tried it 6 months. I did everything they said for 6 months. Forgive me for being this blunt. What do you do? You tried everything you could for 6 months. How many no's are your dreams worth? I have seen people go through 2 or 3 years of struggle only then to hit a home run. 2 or 3 years of struggle. It's not with the business. It's with themselves. It's belief. It's the fact that, can I do it? I know what the struggle is. What do you think I went through? I had success fast, but I went through a lot of stuff to get there fast. My attitude is you can build it fast, or you can build it painfully. All you do is compress everything down into a shorter amount of time. Just go through a lot of aggravation quickly. Here's another thing for you to think about. If you are not frustrated, you are not doing anything. I pray you are frustrated, because when you go 5-star, if you say, I was never frustrated, it was a piece of cake, I don't want to hear your story. I mean, who wants to hear that? Hey, I got in and I just, I didn't really spend a lot of time doing it, but I hit 1-star pretty quick and 2-star. And took me about 6 months to get to 5-star. Go tell somebody else. I want to hear somebody that went through some stuff. Right? I want to know the pain and then the victory. I interviewed a guy for one of my books one time, and I said, tell me about your struggle. He goes, where were you when I was struggling? Why didn't you want to hear my story then? I said, well, it wasn't very compelling because you didn't have the victory yet. He said, okay, here's my story. I failed, and 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 then I made it. And you want to write a book about it. Think about that for a minute. I was with my dad. Told you what my dad did for a living. I was with my dad, and in his office at the time was the acting Secretary of the Army of the United States. We have Secretary of State, Secretary of the Navy, Secretary of the Army. We have all these things. And the acting Secretary of the Army was in my dad's office. It was a friend of his. And in Vietnam, he was a guy that used to lead his troops into the tunnels that the Viet Cong built. And his job was to be the first one into the tunnel to lead his troops. That's scary. And I asked him, I said, look, I write speeches. I give speeches a lot. Can I ask you a question? He goes, sure. I said, this is going to be embarrassing to ask, so don't get mad at me. Were you scared? And he looked at me and he said, of course I was scared. But I was prepared. I was prepared. Here's what I learned. You do not find courage. You do not find courage. You prepare, and courage finds you. When you're picking up the phone to call somebody and you're scared, but you've done it over and over again. One night you're going to pick up the phone and courage is going to come up behind you and wrap its arms around you and say, I got this. Don't worry, I got this. Everything's going to be okay. When that happens to you, you're going to start to realize I'm one step closer to my dream because courage finally found me. Vision. You don't have vision. Vision has you. It has you. It owns you. Your vision owns you. Why do you think we tell people to put dream boards together? You don't get what you want. You get what you picture. You get what you see. It's what you see. It's my first meeting I ever went to. There were 2,500 people in the room, and I couldn't walk away from this. I thought this is the most remarkable thing I've ever seen. 2,500 like-minded people coming together to celebrate their future, and 2,500 people, the meeting's over, they leave. I stayed in the room. I snuck up on stage. I stood on stage in front of 2,500 empty chairs. What I did not know is my mentor was in the room at the same time. And I didn't know this was going to be my mentor. It was just this guy in my upline at the time. He walks over and he says, looks pretty neat, doesn't it? And I said, yeah, it's fascinating. He goes, wouldn't you like to have a room like this? I said, sure, I would. He said, well, close your eyes for a minute. And I'm a 30-year-old guy. I'm a professional in life, and I'm this scared young kid doing this. That's kind of the way I saw myself. I'm really good at what I do professionally, but in this, I felt like just a kid. And he said, close your eyes. And I closed my eyes. He said, now, Bo, here's the truth. If you can see 2,500 people sitting in chairs when you open your eyes, you will have a team like this. And all I remember sitting there thinking, please be in the seats. Please be in the seats. Please be there. And I opened my eyes. And for me, just me, I could see 2,500 people. And that's when I learned something very valuable. You will never get what you want. He said, you'll never get what you want, though. You'll only ever get what you picture, what you see. Why do you think we tell you to put a dream board up? So you can see it. Time is not a clock. Time is sitting in cans with your children on a beach. Time is snow skiing in New Zealand. Time is snow skiing in Big Sky, Montana. I mean, that's what time is. I learned how to snow ski in Scotland, of all places. Time is not a clock. Last couple things I want to tell you. Do you understand that 2 for 2 was designed for you to grow fast? 2 for 2 was put in place. Do you know that brand partner recruitment right now in Australia is up 60%? Australia and New Zealand, it's up 60%. This month over last month. Do you know that sales were up in Australia and New Zealand 60% this month over last month? But brand partner recruitment is up 60%. If you do this right, it'll be up 120%, 250. We did it in Colombia, it was up 240%. We did it in Mexico, it was up 120%. We did it in USA, it was up 73%. Canada was up 120%. Hong Kong was up 250%. What can you do with 2 for 2? It's not 5 people, it's not 10 people, it's you, and it's a statement. 2 for 2 is a promotion where you're making a statement, and the statement is, I'm all in. That's the statement the 2 for 2 is. It's an I'm all in statement. It's count. I'm in it. My advice to you is when this call is done, when we're done, when JoJo says, okay, that's it. Thank you for being here tonight. We love each and every one of you. My advice to you is get on your phone and text her or pick up your phone and call her and tell her I'm all in. I don't care how scared you are. I don't care what you go through. I don't care how hard this seems at times. It seems all of those things. Believe me, I was 30 years old and overwhelmed by a lot of the stuff, but I was all in. And here's something I'm going to tell you about me at 59 years of age to this Nerium family. I'm all in with you. I give you my word. Jeff Olson loves you, believes in you. Do you know how rare the Jeff Olsons of the world are? There's one. His name is Jeff Olson. There's one. And the power of Jeff Olson is not what he says to you on stage. The power of Jeff Olson is what he says about you off stage. You think he talks good to you on stage? You should hear how he talks about you off stage, in private, when you can't even hear him. It's not about money. It's about your dreams, your hopes, your ambitions, the things you want to accomplish in your life. This is about your dream board to him, not about his dream board. He's lived my life. I've lived his life, vice versa. I mean, you can do what you want to do. This is not about that. This is about you. This is about Deborah, who sits there and day after day fights to make this the best opportunity in the world for you. This is so much bigger. When this is done, you've got to know something. Every single one of us are here for a reason. You are here for a reason. It's up to you to find out what that reason is, but you are here for a reason. And you are here to be a part of something transformational and significant. I believe with all my heart, you're going to make all the money you want to make. If you don't, it's because you didn't do the work. You're going to make all the money you want to make. This is bigger than all the money you want to make. This is who can you help? Who can you lift? Who can you speak belief into? Who can you speak inspiration into? Who, when you look at your life when it's over, think about it. When you study your family's lineage, you don't look for the serf. You look for the prince. You look for the princess. You look for the inventor. You look for the author. You look for the person that transformed the life of the people around them. That's who you look for, because that's who I look for when I study my background. The question is, 2 generations from now, when they find your name, what are they going to find? My belief is they have to find the person that made a difference in people's lives.
Yes.
They have to find somebody that did something significant. If they don't find the person that had some goofy excuse, I was too busy, it's not my personality, I didn't want to do it, and all this silly stuff that we can feel at times. They have to find the person that overcame all that garbage and said, you know something, I'm all in. I'm all in. Life on this earth has a time, a lifespan to it. It's whenever that is for each and every one of us on this earth. What do you do when you're here? Do not wait till tomorrow to give your best and highest effort. Please don't wait till tomorrow. It's today. So my advice to you and my encouragement to you is when we're done, pick up the phone and call JoJo. Because what she says about you is not, well, let me tell you what I've done with this team, Bo. When you talk to her, it's not about her. It's about you. That's Denarium culture. She lives it. It's about you. It's about your family and your hopes and your dreams. And every time you talk to her, it's not about, hey, look what I've done. It's about, how can I help the people I love do better for themselves? That's why you call her. It's because she loves you. And I'll just leave you with this thought. I love you too. You have no idea how much I believe in you. You don't have a clue how much I believe what you're capable of. You unleash your potential. You do something great with your life. And so from this side of the world, I want you to know something. When I go to bed at night, I pray for you, and I know what you're capable of. My wife and I know what you can do, and you're in the company to do it. You're in the company to do it, and you're in the culture to do it in. And just know that we love you and we believe in you, and God bless you guys. JoJo, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. But we're going to let you go and have your dinner. But we so appreciate you giving of your time. You have no idea how much it means to us little Aussies and Kiwis. Just thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. It's just brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, how good was that? I better stop the recording.